The planning on this house has just been rejected.
Yeah, that's right, and the reasons are totally laughable. But don't worry, I've got the screenshots, counter-arguments, substantiation, and my inner Karen.
Excuse me?
So I'm going to show you how to take on the council and prove them wrong. If you're having similar issues with your application, this video will help you, but I'll be honest, it's a lot of legwork, but well worth the time. Don't forget to subscribe, 70% of you aren't, and it does help if you are. But first, we'll run through the plans so you can see what we're dealing with.
Now the first thing that was going to happen was this middle section was going to get made into 2 stories, which somebody has done round the corner, and was going to put a side extension on and add another dormer here to make the house single fronted but give it a bit of symmetry. And then we was going to come down to the back where I'm walking now would have been the extension, and the back is where things would get substantially different. All of this would have dormers on the back, just like the neighbours, all down the street, and it would make it very nice. But the comment we've had from the council is we cannot have dormers because it overlooks next door, and we cannot rely on the trees to prevent this from happening. So I engaged Karen mode. I went back to them with a huge document, which we'll go through in a minute, and I'll show you, because every single house on this street has rear dormers, apart from this one. The other thing they have also mentioned is our proposal for the front, that the glazing is too excessive. And what that means is there's too much glass. Again, engaging Karen mode, I've proved this wrong because I've done a square meterage calculation of the glass now and what it will be on the new build. And on the new build, it is less than it is now. To which they've come back and said, sorry, the glazing is too excessive. And this is why I believe that Labour will never ever build 1 million homes, because to get an extension agreed is an absolute nightmare. So to build houses in general, I just don't know. Another issue we've had as well is we cannot put a 2-metre fence up down this side boundary, but the property over there has a 2-metre fence on the side boundary. So we'll go inside, I'll go through absolutely everything in detail. I'll show you the plans first, and then I'll show you the responses we've had from the council. Bearing in mind, we should have had a decision by now, and they've only just commented on the drawings 2 months after the decision date. So we'll quickly run through the drawings of this house. To say I'm gutted is an understatement, and I have recently had a meeting with a local member of parliament to go through the plans, who of which said she is very supportive of it. She thinks it's very in keeping with the area. It brings the area up. It matches what other people are doing in the surrounding avenues, and she can't see why the council are being difficult. I'll get into that after we've run through the drawings, because it was a very, very good chat. It meant that I had to dress rather smart and discuss and put my points across while someone was taking minutes. So it was very, very good. And there was a local chap that I met there as well who was having similar problems with the council. Right, this is how the house currently looks. It's a 1960s dormer bungalow. It consists of 2 rooms upstairs, a bathroom, and that is roughly about it. 1 bedroom is completely usable. The other room would basically pass as a box storage room. It wouldn't even pass as a box bedroom because the ceiling height isn't correct. This is the front elevation, and here is the side elevation. This is the back down here, flat garage roof, and this is the side with the garage roof that is flat with a slight slope on it. This is the existing roof layout. As you can see, there's a dormer at the front, chimney at the back that's no longer used, and nothing else. Bedroom's about here, bathroom is about there, and then this room that is unusable is about here. Now, this is what we've proposed to do, and that may look excessive, but let me explain it. So this, if I zoom in here, will be the new front elevation. Now the existing drawing had a pitched roof here, and that is now going to be made to 2 stories, or was. This existing dormer was just going to be moved over slightly and converted to a pitch roof just to give it some more uniform. Garage roof changes shape, and there's a reason for that, which I'll get into later on. And then this is all the new extension on this side. So it'd be a full side extension, which is 2 stories with the addition of a front dormer to give the house some symmetry. Now the reason we're going to go for this glass atrium at the front was to create a front door, because at the minute the front door for the house is in the side, very awkward position, don't like where it is, so it just doesn't flow well downstairs, and we'll do a tour of the house in a minute to show you. Front door was going to become the front, covered entrance, and then the stairs were actually going to be in this room where I'm sat now, which is my office. This would be the entrance to the house. The stairs would go behind me, wrap around and shoot back up, giving that landing space on the glass atrium, flooding the downstairs of the house with light. Natural light, makes it feel big and airy, also saves on energy bills. So there's an energy efficient proposal that we put in there. Now the back, we're introducing some dormers, and the reason we have 3 pitches on the roof there is because I cannot stand box dormers. I think they're very lazy, they're very boring, they're a very cost-effective way of building, but they don't add much character to the property, and I just think they look a bit naff. So when I spoke with Cavan AI, my architect, we said, I want to introduce a roof that's pitched at the back just to give it that extra airy feel, and then if we could add some windows in the middle, it would look rather nice. So we've proposed this, where halfway back on the roof, which you'll see in a minute, it would have been flat, but the front facade of the back elevation would have had these 3 pitches on. So it's like a W shape. Quite technical to build, but I just thought it looked better. Then below, we was going to smash out all the existing wall that is there on the house at the minute and introduce these 3 sliders. And the thing that alarmed me with that was the cost, because we would have had to put a huge steel beam in, and those sliders alone would have been about 14 grand. I haven't got the money for that, so we did change that to split bifolds of a standard size of about 2.7 meters wide each one. So 2 splits with a brick pillar in the middle. We'll get to that later. Side elevation, side door would stay, but move over. That would be the entrance to the utility room. Window put in the side, and on the other side where the existing bedroom window is, that would be split into 2, because upstairs we'll be introducing 3 new bedrooms to make this house 4 bedrooms. If you didn't count the office, it would pass as 5 if you wanted to sell it. Now this is the roofscape. As you can see, absolute great symmetry here. Very technical build, but I think it pulls it off really well. This is the flat section I was on about, and then these are the valleys that we was going to build to give that roof and just take that clunkiness and bulky look out the back of the house, because we are a corner plot and you can see that everywhere from around. Here's the ground floor. What I'm just going to do now is circle with my mouse where the existing part of the house is. So from the garage to the left here, all the way between the dining and the new hall, that is existing. Everything on the right where it says office, kitchen and utility, that is the new extension that is getting built onto the side of the house to make it that symmetrical look from the front. Now, where I am sat currently talking to you is about here. So this window would have been taken out. We'd build a new wall halfway in this room, which would lead you into the entrance of the house. Staircase would be on the wall behind me. You'd come back, walk above my head, and then go up, and you'd have a 360-degree gallery landing, which would allow you to look down at the front door, giving all this lovely airiness feel to it. And I have got some CGI images to go through. The interior decor is very, very nice, but I think it's a bit too modern for me. The only thing that stays the same downstairs is the living room, barring the window gets made a little bit smaller, and that's for heat loss and efficiency. It'd be rude not to have a coffee while we go through this. We're then going to be moving the walls back, which are existing inside. I'll show you them in a second. The toilet moves downstairs, and then all across the back, we've got to introduce 2 steel beams here, and that will make it a huge open plan, entertaining living space. We've got kitchen with an island, dining area. This media wall area isn't going to be a media wall because I can't stand them. It's going to be a 360-degree log burner with a television above it, so you can sit down and watch, and if you're entertaining. Utility room around the back, so we can put the washer dryer in there and just have all the noise tucked away at the opposite side of the house. Downstairs toilet moves, and then the office shifts onto the other side of this wall, and we get a new office, and that will be dedicated for me to run my business from. Garage stays exactly the same size, the door moves at the back, and then the garage roof pitch changes. This is where everything gets made a hell of a lot better. So the bedroom that we currently have at the minute becomes bedroom 2. The bed changes orientation, gets made a little bit smaller, and then we have another bedroom at the back. This little red ring down here is where the flue will run through in a false void that we're going to build for the log burner downstairs in the open plan kitchen. We've got a linen cupboard that's going to go on the landing, and then the stairs that wrap around here. And this design, it's my ultimate dream house. Now, I haven't got the cash to do this. The plan is it's a self-build, can't afford to pay people to do this, so we're going to do the majority of it ourselves. Anyway, we're going to move the rear bathroom from here over to the back. We are going to have a bath, sink, shower and toilet in there, and then we have a new door put here into an ensuite, and then we have our master bedroom at the back with these balcony windows, because the view above the trees is absolutely sensational. You can see a monument on the hills, looks very nice, and in the summer you can actually see the planes coming down to land on Manchester runway. I'm not even lying. If you get some binoculars out, some good ones, sometimes you see the smoke coming off the wheels, which is really nice when they land. Bedroom 3, this is going to be just another bedroom. So the plan is we start a family here. We've got room for kids, rooms for friends and family to stay. It's really great layout and design. The only thing we're probably going to change for the time being is this wardrobe that's shown. Probably going to put another door in here, have this as our bedroom, but the bed will go on this wall there. And then what we will do is have this as a dressing room. If we ever decide to sell it or move out of this house, we'll just take that door out to make it the 4 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms if you don't count the office. So that is what we proposed to put forward to the council. So talking you through here now, this is what the front would look like, and I think it looks absolutely sensational, and it looks like a brand new house, and this is everything that I've wanted, but the council won't let us do it because they said it's not in keeping with the area. Yet another house around the corner has done this, and it's the same house. This staircase, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. The plan was I was going to make the staircase myself because we got a cost on that. It was about 12 grand, and I'm not spending 12 grand on a staircase because I just simply don't have the money to do that. This is to give you a feel of what the inside the house looks like. As you can see, he's gone for an ultra modern finish, not really to my taste. I prefer more quirky. Here's the dormers at the back, just adding that character into it, taking away that boxy, clunky look. I think it looks really fresh and modern. Those are them massive sliders, which we're not doing because of the cost of them, obviously. There's things we can save money on, things that I've trimmed, but this is the design that we really wanted, and the council just will not let us do it. It is so, so frustrating. Ultra modern. I mean, these renders, the shadows, the way the light moves, I just can't get over how amazing they look. And to say this is computer generated image, absolute madness. And if there's an architect that I need to recommend, it's Steve from Cavern AI, because he never charged me for this. He did this for free. It's normally a chargeable service, but because we're doing the YouTube series, he's really helped me out with that. So I appreciate it. But as you can see, ultra modern finish, and this house would be, it just looks $1 million. It looks absolutely fantastic. That's the media wall where the log burner was going to go. Now you're probably wondering, how much is all this going to cost? Well, with an architect's guesstimation, basing the high-end finish on around £3,000 per square metre, it would cost about £210,000 to pay someone to do all this. I think I can do it for 90 grand myself. Now, I don't have 90 grand. I don't even have a third of that to throw at it. The plan with this is I'm going to build the extension. I'm going to use a bricklayer to get that up to roof height, and I am going to do everything else myself as and when we have the money, which means it's going to be a massively long process to pull this off, which means you lot need to lock in and subscribe to this channel to see this grow. It could take months, it could take years, but the quicker this channel grows, the quicker it gets done, and the quicker I can show you guys how to save some money renovating a property yourself. Before we go through the Karen element of this video and my arguments with the useless council, I'll show you what walls are coming out just to show you how intricate this build process was going to be. This is currently the hallway. It doesn't really flow. We've got this door that opens into here. That's a downstairs toilet with no hot water to it. It's never had it, don't understand why. That goes into the dining room. This goes into the kitchen. It's been Sophie's birthday, she's turned 30, and then this comes into the living room, and the only things that stay in here is the shape of the room. It gets rewired, that gets bricked up. Obviously we've added the log burner in, and that door stays, and this window gets made a little bit smaller. The window ledge comes up and it just moves in a little bit just to keep control of the heat loss. Now the kitchen is where everything actually changes. So this wall you're looking at here with these cabinets on that we've repainted, that wall gets knocked out, and above that wall at the minute is the chimney on the back that's being held up with a piece of timber braced across that nib on the wall. So that's going to get knocked out, and there is a steel to go all the way across there and rest on this wall, which means we can then take this wall out, This wall will also come out. The wall where the steel's going is this one, so that obviously goes. And then in here, excuse the mess, we haven't really got many places to store things at the minute, but this wall here is the gable. So there's a steel to go across there, past that wall. All this gets taken out, that gets taken out, and the new kitchen will be over there. And the kitchen island falls roughly here. We'll then have that media wall that is shown on the drawings, which isn't. It'll be a 360-degree log burner, which you can walk all the way around, and it'll go up through there. These doors are actually going to stay this size on the new proposed. I'm just going to put a bifold in there, so there'll be a split 3 bifold. This nib will stay, and then we'll smash out the kitchen window and kitchen door. That door will go, that window will go, it'll get taken up to the same height, and there'll be a split 3 bifold there. What I really don't understand about this house when it was built is they did everything 10 times harder than it needed to be. That window is taller than that door, and it doesn't key into the brickwork outside. So if they'd have just made that window the same height as that door, the brickwork would have keyed all the way through. Makes absolutely no sense, and you can see that everywhere in this house. The layout is absolutely shocking. Anyway, let's sit down back at the desk and go through the absolute chronic brain bashing, going in circles, just being completely incompetent and useless. Let's go through all that. I know it sounds like I'm bashing the council, but this is why nothing ever happens fast in this country, because it is just a culture built on naysayers. Right, so let me just give you a timeline. We got the keys to this house in May 2025. Seems a long time ago now. The first thing I did was chop the trees down. The second thing I did was get an architect round to start putting the plans together, getting them ready for submittal in June 2025. We submitted the plans at the end of June after some revisions and going through things that we wanted, things we didn't like, all that sort of stuff. And we should have had a decision on the 1st of September in 2025. I then pushed the council to say the deadline's tomorrow. Are we looking for a decision? I got a response to say the person dealing with the case is on holiday, they're short-staffed, and no one's looked at the case yet. They never asked for an extension of time. They just told me that. So I was like, right, okay, I'll wait a week. That was the 10th of September 2025. And the response I got from the councillor was this: "Hi Tom, I am assessing the application and presently we have some concerns." And this is where I knew everything was going to go downhill. After a review of the proposals, I would comment as follows. The dormers and front extensions are considered excessive and overwhelm the existing dwelling. The existing dwellings within the street scene are uniform, and the proposal would result in an incongruous form of development which would result in harm to the visual amenity of the host dwelling and wider area. Furthermore, I would refer to the guiding principles for dormers to ensure compliance. Now, the dormers are fully compliant because the architect is aware of this, and the dormers we proposed is what another house has done on a different street. In this street, nobody has done a development yet apart from the back, so it's obviously going to stand out because no one's done it yet. But the reality is, if one person does it, someone wants to do it, it brings in more revenue for the council, it brings the area up, it gives local businesses work, and it just brings everything in harmony. This was the best one. The proposed 2-metre fencing would also result in visual harm. What? Are we harming wildlife? Are we harming people's feelings? What are we harming here? The existing street scene is open with low brickwork and walls and vegetation to the boundaries. However, we would accept the proposed fence if it was pulled back towards the rear elevation. So in other words, they would accept 2 fence panels opposed to 10. Whereas the house across the road has got fences all down the side boundary. So I thought, you can't go back with this. Whilst we was doing this, I pointed the planning officer in the direction of the property that has built up on the front, which they have called incongruous, to say that it has been passed in recent years. I also sent them a screenshot and I made a animation to show how the drawings overlay to show there is absolutely no difference. So if they've been accepted it, why couldn't we be accepted it? And they've come back and said, from a planning history search, the dwellings on Avenue appear to have been granted a single-storey extension and dormer extensions. I have included an image below showing the dormer side, which is deemed accessible. So she then sent back what I sent to her to say that it's acceptable. And I was like, so we're in agreement here, surely something's going to happen.
The email tennis continued for days, and every response we received contradicted everything previously stated by the council. No surprise there. And the irony is they're passing things like this in the background. But this is where things got interesting and I unleashed my inner Karen.
This is a document I spent hours putting together to submit to the council, which received no acknowledgement. Here's a little overview just highlighting. So before submission, careful considerations and review of the development works in the neighbouring streets and surrounding areas were undertaken. Intricate selection of materials that complement and offer seamless blend with neighbouring properties. We ask that consistency of planning decisions is maintained throughout the process is met. This document demonstrates conflicting previous applications that have been approved. So this is just to say what the document has together. And I absolutely urge every single one of you to take the time to do this if you're having an issue with the council. Neighbouring properties that have been granted permission. So quick whiz through. This is a house around the corner. They've built up exactly the same house. It's been re-rendered. They built up 2 stories in the middle, albeit the windows are a different shape and the roof is a different shape on the dormers. We'll come back to this one in a second. This is the house, as you can see there, built up off the front, really long side gable, looks lovely, absolutely great. I actually spoke to the guy that lives in this house and I asked him, did he have any issues with the council? He said no. He told me who granted the permission. This is our proposal and that is their proposal, albeit the windows are different and the dormer roof is different, but you can see the footprint of what we want to do and what they want to do is absolutely no different. They got it granted, we're having it rejected. So if that's not an inconsistency, tell me what is. I then went to the extent of labelling their drawings that were approved and ours which have submitted and deemed not acceptable. I drew it all on with annotations, marked it here, and you can see, pause it if you want to see that more. Side elevations, I then overlaid them. As you can see, absolutely no difference apart from the house that has been accepted. They've got a bigger extension and a bigger footprint of the house at the back. Then when you come here, we've got the plans that we've proposed, plans that have been granted by the other property, and then on the right they're overlaid. Same again with both elevations, just to detail there is no size difference. Then part 2, neighbouring properties granted planning permission, front projections and facades. This is to demonstrate other houses that have built out from the ridge line in the local area with the glazing. So there is example number 1, there is example number 2, number 3, number 4. We've got example number 5. Example number 6, and then we go to here, we've got overlooking neighbouring properties. This is where I got really rattled by this one. So I took my drone out. This is our house here on the corner plot, and as you can see, all the neighbours have dormers on the back, but they've all got flat garage roofs. Now we have proposed to change the garage roof to eliminate the line of sight, which I'll come back to in a second. This is behind the houses across the road. As you can see, box dormers, really don't think they look pretty, not very in keeping, but I just want to avoid that. As you can see, every single one of them looks into a neighbouring property. Now, this is the outline of our proposal. So that's the roofscape, and we're explaining the garage roof, why we've done this to eliminate the council's overlooking comment, albeit it's not a valid comment because everyone has rear dormers. But by building this garage roof up, if I skip to the next slide, you will see when you stood at the bedroom window, you will not be able to see into next door's garden. And then here, you'd only be looking at the side of someone's house, but we're not getting rid of them trees. We're going to keep them, we'll maintain them, and I want them to stay there. So it's an irrelevant thing. We're not taking anyone's privacy away. I've even had a word with the neighbours. They haven't got a problem with it. They actually want us to do the work because the road that they've built theirs on, all the houses have been developed, it brings the area up and everyone's house prices increase. As you can see here, nobody has done that garage roof to try and eliminate that line of sight, where we have been quite considerate with that. This is the overlooking view. That would be where you would stand, and that is the view. I don't think that overlooks anything. I think they're talking utter rubbish, the council there. Then if we come to this slide, the front glazing, excessive. Right, this is where I engaged Karen mode. This window here is massive. This is the one in this room. That's getting taken out and replaced with a door. So one window has disappeared. We're then moving that window up, essentially. So the window that's on the existing dormer is getting made smaller, and the living room window is getting made smaller. So we've eliminated a window and we've shrunk the 2 windows down by half. So we've effectively got rid of 2 windows there. That window moves up. So we've introduced 1 window in, but we're still 1 window less on the front of the house. And this is how it will look. So door at the bottom, window moves up, the actual window is narrower, and we've just got that triangulated bit on the top. So when we zoom in, that is the only additional bit of glazing on the front of the existing property,
which has been deemed excessive. Now, I went nerdier, and I can't find the calculation for this, but I did a square meterage calculation, and it proved it in numbers it was less. I passed this on to the council, I passed this document on to the council, and they come back and said they will not change their mind unless we revise the design. So I went one step further.
Now at this point, you're probably thinking, Tom, you have got way too much time on your hands to be arguing this out. And I haven't. I'm trying to run a media business, a property holiday let business, and I'm just trying to do my house up at the same time. So the council are introducing all of these problems and they're not needed. So I went one step further. I got in touch with my local Labour MP, unfortunately, and I had a meeting with her, and she was very accommodating. I had to go to the local town hall. I put a nice suit on, went there with my drawings, my laptop, got all the CGIs up, and she was very, very supportive. She knows the area well. I think she's got a property around here, and she said, I don't understand why they're being so difficult. And then what I highlighted next is absolutely laughable, and she could not believe it when I said it. In the council that I am dealing with, there is 11 case officers. And in the past 5 days, I checked on the website, between those 11 people, they had made 5 decisions on planning applications. So 1 decision a day between 11 people. And if you equate that to hours, that means there is 11 people, which equates to more than 450 hours a week, making 5 decisions. And this is taxpayers' money. And I said, I've come from an industry in construction where I had to make very expensive decisions every couple of minutes throughout the day, and there wasn't time for delays like this. I then said, obviously Labour's policy is they want to build 1 million homes. I don't think that's going to happen. And she said, do all these people work full time? Well, I said, well, I don't actually know, but assuming they do, I think it's a bit ridiculous. Would you not agree? And she said, yes, I do. And I'll be doing some investigations, so leave it with me. So a week went by. The MP spoke to the council, and then I got full-blown, absolute toys out the pram saying, please revise the drawings or we will decide this application now and refuse it. So that leaves us with having to spend another £1,500 having to redesign the whole house and resubmit to the council. The annoying thing is, planning applications used to be £300. They're now £600, and that's to deal with staff shortages. It's just such an annoying process, and I don't want this to come across like I'm being negative. I know I keep saying that, but all I want to do is make that a family home. I just want to make it somewhere we can bring kids up and live here forever. And make it great. The other annoying thing is, as well, we have paid a hefty amount of stamp duty on this house. And I know that's because we've still kept the house in Wales, but the reality is, when you factor in the planning costs, everything else, and they're being this awkward, and they've had best part of 16 grand stamp duty out of me, this leaves a very, very sour taste.